The Harmon's Chili Roast is back every Friday and Saturday through Labor Day. The best way to get great flavor out of green chilies is to roast them. So, when you purchase a bushel of chilies, Harmon's will flame roast them for you right there at the store for free. It is a Harmon's tradition and it is delightful. And you can choose any heat level you prefer from mild to hot. The thing I love most is that the whole store is like a chili scavenger hunt because they do special editions of all of your faves. So there's Hatch green chili bread, Hatch chili salsa, even specialty chili cheeses. This Saturday, August 22nd, is the Taste of Chili Roast. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., all Harmon stores will be roasting and sampling. So you can try seasonal favorites and chili-inspired recipes. The Utah Museum of Fine Arts is celebrating 25 years in the Marcia and John Price Museum building with a new exhibit. For the Future, Collecting at the UMFA opens on Saturday, August 29th. This is kind of the ultimate exhibit. It's a showcase of the most notable artworks added to the museum's collection since 2001. There will be a Kusama, people. For the Future, Collecting at the UMFA is on view at the Utah Museum of Fine Arts until January 3rd of next year. So pencil in a visit. More information at umfa.utah.edu. Today on CityCast Salt Lake, is golf on the rise in Salt Lake City? Because it seems like it's getting harder to book a tee time. Plus, we pick a parent's brain about Back to School 2026, and we've got Picks of the Week. I'm host Ali Vallarta. I'm here with Alpine resident Scott Wessman.
Hello.
It's good to have you, Scott. You're new-ish on the show. We're having fun. We're having fun with you.
Newish. It's a pleasure to be here, though. I'm really enjoying it.
And CityCast Salt Lake contributor Kate Groetzinger on deck. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Ali.
Okay, we want to talk about back to school because, dear backseat listeners, congratulations. First week in the books if you live in Salt Lake City. But first, we kind of got breaking news yesterday, which is that ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has, according to a headline from the Salt Lake Tribune, scrapped plans for a detention center warehouse in Salt Lake City. You probably remember this. They wanted to build this 7,500 bed detention center on the west side of the city. The Department of Homeland Security actually bought the property. They paid upwards of $140 million for it. And then there was reporting a couple months ago that it maybe wouldn't happen. And now it feels like what we're hearing from the department itself and its lawyers is it's definitively not happening. Is anything ever really truly happening or not happening in the Trump administration? I guess that's my question. How did you two react to this?
Yeah, it's a good question. I immediately thought about the border wall that they're building through Big Bend National Park, which they said they were not going to build, and now they're building. So I think your question is a good one. Nothing's ever fully dead, but this one does seem like it's probably not going to happen from what I read. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's it's all probabilities at the end of the day now with the Trump administration. And I think they seem like they're not interested. But, we should all sort of hold out the expectation they could change on a moment's notice for any number of reasons.
Yeah. The thing about this decision, I mean, personally, me, Ali Vallarta, I'm thrilled to hear that there won't be a detention center built in our community. We know that these facilities house people of all ages, all stripes. But even if you are one of the people who emails us regularly because you are pro the Trump administration's immigration policy, you want more ICE in communities, I think you're still kind of pissed because you've watched $150 million nearly taxpayer dollars be spent on this facility, which we know they paid more than it was worth. And now it's not going to happen. And what? They're not going to be able to sell this for what they paid for it. Like, it just feels all in all sort of uncanny for this administration and how they spend money and time and I guess flood the zone, right? I don't know.
Yeah, there's money available for the things that matter to the administration for sure. And I think, as I zoom out, I think this is, to me, it's a good sign. I'll just speak personally. It's a good sign. I think there's a very small contingent of the country that wants to run a mass deportation program. And I think it's nice to see that maybe isn't going to be the way. But, as we said before, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah. A small contingent, and it feels like shrinking every day as they see what that looks like.
Yeah. I mean, the
more and
question
more.
now is, what do they do with this warehouse
Right.
that they own? I think it's possible, they still do some sort of detention there and they just call it something else. So I would be watching for that.
Yeah. Well, we'll certainly keep eyes on it for you, listener. Okay. Let's talk about back to school. And I actually think these stories are linked. Scott, you are the only parent in the room right now in this conversation. But I imagine that as you prepare to send kids back to school, maybe there were conversations being had about ICE. I know certainly during last year's school year, a lot of the conversations we were having about ICE related to how school boards were preparing for ICE interference in classrooms. What else was like on the docket for back to school for you?
It's a lot of mundane stuff, I guess. There's just the logistical aspect of sending a kid back to school.
Sure.
I think a big part of it is like what's going to happen with the cell phones in schools. I think that's a huge part of my area of interest.
Yes.
Because I think legitimately, like, they're just a massive distraction if people are wielding them in class. But also
massive distraction to me at work, my own cell phone.
Right.
Same. I do wish there was some authority that could tell me to put my cell phone away permanently when I'm at work. But there's none of that at this point. So someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, the kids kids seem all right. I think this is a great generation. My youngest is a junior in high school. She's
Cool.
Just started yesterday, and she is just raring to go. And one thing that's the kids are so overscheduled now. The amount of stuff they have going in a given day is stunning. So it's a little bit wistful to have the school year fire up again and have them just wall to wall packed. I don't know how anybody does it, but somehow we do.
Yeah. Do you worry about that? I mean, like, I was a very bored kid at times, and I do think that maybe it's served me. Should we be scheduling boredom?
I think we should. I mean, unstructured time, especially as the kids I think are younger, unstructured free time is like the biggest gift you can give a kid, I think. But right now, I think there's this fear of, well, if it's not structured, then the kids will run off and play on their phones or their devices. And so I think every parent is grappling with this question of like, is the next, club team or the next, extracurricular activity going to be too much for this kid of mine? And, we see a lot of our kids staying up way too late and getting up way too early just to kind of fit it all in. So it's a strange time.
I am also interested in the cell phones in schools debate, even as like a non-parent, because I just think we got to kind of figure out what we're going to do about cell phones and meta glasses and like the technology becoming fully fused in our minute to minute, not just day to day. And so I'm also like really interested in that. And I've been interested in the way that the state is approaching it. Something, Scott, that you might be surprised to learn about Kate Groetzinger is that she was running for school board this year for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And now her name is marked as withdrawn when you go to look at the list of candidates.
And I still have pending friend requests from, I assume, random parents in the district on Facebook.
Who are already upset
I
with
moved
you.
out of the district. I was going to run because there was an open seat, and Ali flagged it for me and said, this is a great opportunity to be civically engaged.
And to get healthcare.
To get healthcare. And,
And
they
the
pay
12,
you, which is cool because it does actually seem like a big job. But shout out to all the school board members out there working hard, I assume. As someone without I do have parents without children. I was sort of looking at a more policy level side of back to school. And I found this really interesting statistic that Utah is one of 4 states facing an extra $500 million in added school air conditioning costs. And that's from last year. They did an analysis just because of climate change and how hot it is. And I was thinking about that because it's obviously burning hot right now. It turns out that's costing our districts a lot of money, which is interesting. The other thing I found is that inflation is hitting teachers and parents hard. Of course, we all know like teachers never have enough money to buy supplies. And I found this really cool website called Donors Choose, where you can go and choose the exact teacher you want to donate to, and they talk about what they need. So one of like, it's literally everything from like art supplies to like instruments for mariachi band practice to literally composition notebooks was one of them. So if you want to support the arts or you want to support just literal basic writing utensils, you can go to Donors Choose and put in Salt Lake City and donate directly to a classroom, which I found to be really cool.
Yeah, we've had a couple of our teachers post their Donors Choose site and kind of just mention it, in a very gentle way, like, hey, it would be great if you all just took a look at this and maybe, chipped in a little bit for it. And it does feel very good to know you're going to actually hook somebody up with some of the supplies they need. It is crazy that our teachers are spending their own personal money to round out what kids need. It seems like something's off there.
Yeah. I was looking at solutions to that, and actually it looks like our schools do have sort of a discretionary fund, and you can contact your school district member, speaking of school district representatives, and ask them to spend those unspent sort of savings funds on supplies. So you can do that.
I like it. I mean, browsing this list of things that the schools need, thinking about things like security, also just thinking about how keen the Utah legislature has been in previous years to see money taken out of our public school system and reallocated to private school opportunities or homeschool opportunities, which the interesting thing about homeschooling, like, we don't track that. We actually have we don't have good data on how many kids in our state are being homeschooled because there's not really a measure of tracking that. I guess the school voucher program, which is what I'm referring to, where you can request money, quote unquote, your cut of what you would pay into the public school system to put your kid in private school, is somewhat now tracking that, but also not entirely. So we don't know how many kids in our state are being homeschooled. But anyway, well, Scott, do you have any sort of insight for us on what we should expect this school year? Have you been hearing anything from teachers or anything that they've asked you to prep your kids on that you think is going to come down the pike? What should Kate and I know or be worried about or not worried about as not parents?
Yeah, you won't be shocked to hear that I think a lot of schools are trying to figure out how to deal with AI, and not just as something that is off limits or a cheating tool, but also just this question of okay, we have these incredibly capable tools now in certain circumstances. Can we deploy them in ways that are net positive for everybody and make sure the kids are actually learning? So I think I don't think there's anything definitive that's been sort of figured out there, but I think it's just a massive question at this point. And I think it just fundamentally changes the way that schools do what they do. If you think about giving somebody homework and sending them off to do it at home, AI can just do that, right? And there's no barrier now to just relying on AI to do your work for you, and of course all the loss of learning opportunity that implies. So that's a huge one. And then the second one that's way more frivolous is that I'm seeing a lot of 90s fashion among the kids these days, and it's just incredible to watch. And I will say with some pride that last year my two girls were borrowing my clothes on the
Wow.
regular.
Whoa.
Big chunky sweaters for them, very baggy. And it just made me feel good as a dad.
They were kind of the Billie Eilish aesthetic, the big shirt, big sweater.
Yeah, a lot of big stuff, just that kind of 90s baggy, grungy sort of aesthetic, and not fully 90s, but a lot of hints of that. So it's fascinating to watch the fashion wheel go around.
That's really
It really
fun.
is. It goes around and around. That's why I can't get rid of anything. Someday my kids might want to wear it to school.
Exactly.
The end of summer is near, and Salt Lake Society is soaking up every last drop with their annual swim party. Join Society on Monday, August 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. for an evening of barbecue, swimming, and socializing. You may even see some handmade sundresses and swimsuits at this party. Tickets are just $10, and this event is 21 up. Society's ever-changing fabric selection is also starting to look like fall. Stop by their brick and mortar for the last bits of linen, seersucker, and gauze as they start bringing in flannels, corduroys, and other cozy favorites. Get tickets to Society's swim party at saltlakesociety.com or stop by their beautiful brick and mortar in the Granary District to check out new fabrics every week. saltlakesociety.com. Alpine resident Scott Wessman and CityCast Salt Lake contributor Kate Groetzinger. I want to talk about golf, but before I do, I want to let listeners know that we are wrapping up our quick little membership campaign here. It's our closet clean out. So we've got a couple items. We found some extra boxes of things like our beautiful Oxford pennants that we designed with Oxford Pennant. They've got the 9th and 9th whale on them and say, I live here on purpose. We've got neighbor mugs. We've got neighbor totes. And if you become a CityCast Salt Lake member right now, you can choose one of the three as like a thank you gift. So membership means $10 a month or $100 a year. You can go to membership.citycast.fm to learn more and join. You'll also see there the full list of perks. There are lots and lots of perks like ad-free listening to start that we offer our members. But, you know, the real reason that you would join this program is that you love our show. You love reading our daily newsletter. You want us to keep making these forever, ideally, and ever. You want our children's children to be hosting this podcast. But Kate, you are a member. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What made you, cross over?
The totally honest answer is, and I was a member way before I was a contributor, I should mention, was that my friends we're working on this podcast and I wanted to support them. But then I really started listening. I actually just moved to Salt Lake a few years ago, right when CityCast kind of came on the scene. And I was listening to it every single day just to learn more about this city. I feel like I learn, it really is my go-to source for local news. I actually listen to it over, the daily or up first if I'm choosing. If I only have 30 minutes or 20 minutes to kill on news, I'm picking CityCast because local news matters more to me than national news. Like it's more actionable. So yeah, that's why I continue to be a member, even now that I am also a contributor.
Love it. Suck it, Barbaro.
I have an exciting announcement. I just joined last night. So
I did see
very
that.
Very excited. And I did it. I did it for all sorts of reasons, but one reason I will admit was to get a mug. I just wanted that mug. It looked really cool, and I can't wait to drink out of it as soon as it arrives.
A very cute diner mug, and I did see that you became a neighbor. That's what we call our members last night, Scott, because our computers light up every time someone joins, and then we squeal with delight. So if you become a member right now, you can count on having that impact right off the jump. I got to thank everyone who's joined. Live? Everyone who's joined this week: Paul G, Luke M, Meredith W, Jacqueline K, Brett I, Taylor H, Jessica D, Ann B, Scott W, there you are, Kate M, Archana D. Thank you so much. Y'all are legends. We could truly not make this show without you. Okay, so I'm at a 2-year-old's birthday party. I'm sitting at a table doing what you do at a 2-year-old's birthday party, which is talking politics with all the people who don't have kids. And my boyfriend and his brother start talking about how it's gotten so hard to get a tea time in Salt Lake City these days. And I was like, why do you think that is? And they were like, well, we just think golf has gotten so popular. Like this sport is becoming more accessible, more popular. It's on the rise. And now it's really, really hard to get a tee time. And if you can't afford to join the Salt Lake Country Club at, probably, I'm guessing here, $250,000 just to get in, you are likely playing on Salt Lake City's public courses, which I don't know, Kay, I thought you would like hearing that Salt Lake City, one of Salt Lake City's public goods programs, is operating 6 public golf courses. Have either of you been on either of them? Any of them?
Yeah, I've played Mountain Dell and a number of other Salt Lake County courses. And Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, I personally golfed a ton years back, and it's great. It's so much
What
fun.
made you give it up?
Mostly it was the time that it takes to play a full round. It's just, a
Sure.
4-hour commitment, and life gets busy, so you have to really, really, really be into golf, and I do love it and still play, but not as often as I used to. And I also at the time didn't have 4 kids, so things
Yeah.
change.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Glendale Golf Course, and I went there a number of times with an ex-boyfriend who wanted to play golf. And I said, sure, I like to be outside. I can get into I like to wear little skirts. So we went to Glendale to the driving range. We'd actually never played a game, but we did go to the driving range after work like 8 or 9 times. And it was really fun, really affordable. I felt like I got a little better, watched some YouTube videos, and I can hit the ball. So that's kind of the main thing for me.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's
Huge.
really half the battle.
Yeah.
It's
The other
really
half is
hard to
finding
hit
the ball after you hit it.
Yes, finding,
Yes.
hitting. It's the basics, and then not getting mad. Just holding your emotions in check is huge
Yeah.
for me.
So something that Salt Lake City started doing very recently is adding a $2 capital improvement project fee onto every 9 holes that you play at one of the city's 6 courses. And this was something they needed to do basically to keep up with, deferred maintenance, like just keep up with the maintenance needed at all of these courses. And I pulled the Salt Lake City staff report to the council that was put together when they were talking about some of this funding. And what is cool about Salt Lake City's golf courses is that, they would say, unlike other parks, right, they pay for themselves. Now, how do you define paying for yourself? Whatever. But because they have fees, because you pay to play, they really are able to reinvest back in the course and pay staff and things like that. And they also run these youth programs. But one of the things that the staff report had that I thought was really fun was how much the game has grown in our city. And so they measure that by the total number of starts. So that just means basically number of tee times booked, number of starts, whether you're playing 9 holes or 18 holes. Since 2019, the total number of annual starts on a Salt Lake City golf course has grown 62%. That to me is phenomenal because the population of Salt Lake City has not grown 62%. But I called up the division director and asked him why he thinks this is the case. And he said, COVID. During the pandemic, everyone just started golfing because it was something outside that you could do. It's kind of in your backyard. It's fairly accessible. The reason I'm so interested in golf is because I'm always interested in things that attract ire. And I think when it comes to water usage, the fact that it's a male dominated sport, like you brought up, Scott, the sheer amount of time that it takes, I think the game can also attract a lot of ire.
I was looking at the gender side of this because I have noticed more women, and especially women I'm friends with, are taking up golf. And in fact, there's been an almost 50% increase in the estimated number of women who play golf in the United States since 2019, which is insane. So women are quickly, maybe not overtaking men on the golf course, but they're out there. It's no longer a men-only sport.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And, my grandma, who passed away about 10 years ago, for the last probably 25, 30 years of her life, had a weekly game with 3 other women. They'd go out to Meadowbrook Golf Course, a Salt Lake County course, and play around every single week. And it was a great part of her life.
Yeah. That's so
nice.
nice.
That's the dream, honestly. A weekly golf game with your girls.
The other thing that's on the horizon that I want to tell you that got me real excited is that there is a plan to spend $1.5 million. It's currently in the planning phase to add to Glendale Golf Course, Kate. This is the driving range you were going to. Also,
girl.
The driving range I like to go to. To create heated bays so that you can go to the driving range during the winter. And the south side will have open air seating for events and social gatherings. Wow. So if I can be doing a Top Golf thing at a city-owned facility, I'm
very, very cool. Very cool.
That's my dream. That's my
Very
dream.
cool. And Kate, your experience golfing at the range is such a good one. I mean, being able to go out for an hour and just hit some balls, and it actually is a sneaky cool thing to do. And Top Golf is kind of like is a lot of fun. It's also very expensive, and a city version of that would be super fun.
Totally.
Yeah, love that.
Is there anywhere that you recommend, Scott, from your golfing days, or if you were to start to get sneaky back into the sport, which the sport's counting on you to get back into it? Because I will say this data, when I asked Matt, who runs the golf division at Salt Lake City, about the growth in popularity, he said he actually thinks a lot of it is people who are coming back to the game, who gave it up and then COVID or whatever got them back into the game. Where do you like to go? What do you recommend?
Yeah, I do think the mountain courses, there are a few sort of in total. Mountain Dell is incredible. Up sort of not a Salt Lake City course, but Wasatch Mountain State Park is an incredible course if you want to do kind of a day trip out there to Midway.
Totally.
Those sort of scenic ones are pretty great.
Totally. And if you go to that one up by Midway, there's a really nice sauna facility right next to the golf course.
Wow.
I think they share a parking lot. It's like a little Japanese sauna. So check that out if you find yourself up there.
Yeah, that place does rock. Midway also has a 24-hour indoor golf facility. So if you want to become a member of that, you can go at 2 a.m. and hit golf balls.
I really
process trauma.
Really want to know who's doing that. Every time I go see it, I'm like,
you should stake it out.
What's going on here?
Golf addict. Yeah,
for sure. Till I see my boyfriend and I'm like, what?
You're out at 2 a.m. smelling like a golf ball coming back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Coming home smelling
Don't
like
come
a
home
golf
like
ball.
this. Scott Wessman and CityCast Salt Lake contributor Kate Groetzinger. On Fridays, we do Pick of the Week, and we have a sponsor for this week's Pick of the Week. It's the Utah Museum of Fine Arts. They absolutely rock. They have a phenomenal collection that punches maybe a little bit above our weight here in Salt Lake City. So visit the UMFA if you want to take in some wonderful fine art. They also have an event calendar. So if you're looking for free and artful things to do with a friend, with a date, with your family, here are a few coming up. UMFA in the Wild goes through September at Utah State Parks. This week, you can make paper flowers at Wasatch Mountain State Park on Saturday, August 22nd. Again, free little activity that they're putting together there for families. They've also got their art and wellness program, which is back with yoga on Wednesday evening starting September 6th. Plan on that. You can always see their list of running events at umfa.utah.edu/events. Shout out to the Utah Museum of Fine Arts for sponsoring this show. And our favorite segment, Pick of the Week. Kate, what's your Pick of the Week?
Yeah, I love Pick of the Week. This is my favorite. My Pick of the Week is Maple Grove Hot Springs up in Idaho. I just had the opportunity to go up there for the first time, and it is freaking gorgeous. It's on the Bear River. There are 7-ish hot spring pools of different temperatures. There's a sauna. And this weekend, Saturday, August 22nd, they're going to be making pizzas. So if you go up there, you can get a pizza for dinner. Otherwise, you need to bring your own food if you don't get a pizza. And then a month from now, at the end of September, they're doing 3 nights of string bands at the hot springs. So go check that out. And it's alcohol free as well and drug free, just so you know, in case you go. But there is free BLM camping right next to the hot springs. So if you don't want to pay, you can camp for free.
Cool.
Shout out public lands. Sorry, I'm legally required to say that.
Yeah, that's true. Kate, if you don't know, is the communications director for the Center for Western Priorities. So she's working to keep public lands in public hands, if you haven't heard.
Every single day.
Every minute. Scott, what about you? What's your pick of the week?
My pick is some basic stuff about living the good life in the Salt Lake area, which is the Salt Lake County Library System has an app that's great. And I am just a massive fan of the Salt Lake County Library System. And in particular, of course, There are many branches. You can go to any of them, and they're all a pleasure to spend time in. But the app itself has the ability to place a hold on any given book that you search that they have in their catalog. And you can place that hold, and when the book becomes available, they'll deliver it to whatever library branch you want. And it's magical. Nice. It's just great to be able to say, hey, here are the books. And then you get a little email and it says your books are ready to pick up, and you head over to the Draper Library, which is where we go, and you pick up your books. It's like, and they're free. It's magic.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That changes everything for me. I can delete my note in my notes app called Books and download the app and just put them directly into there instead.
It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Yes. Shout out to actually going into the library. I feel like because of the hold system, I practically never go into the stacks. But like every time I do, I check out like 5 new books that I'm psyched to read. Great reminder. Thanks, Scott.
When we created the Dewey Decimal System, we were a great nation.
It's true. We've all been downhill from there.
America was indeed great. It's true. It's true.
Shout out to the Salt Lake County Library as well, because they've also got a library of things where you can check out anything from like a bird watching kit to a pasta maker. I recently learned you can check out a GoPro. Like, nice. Why did I buy a GoPro? I could have saved myself $400 and just borrowed one on the 3 times a year I want to use a GoPro. Woof.
Al, what's your shout out?
Okay, my shout out is to an event this Saturday that I look forward to every year for 3 years now. And it is the restoration of the Lost Verse and Lime, which is the Jimmy Buffett Memorial Night at Cucina in the lower avenues. Dean, who owns Cucina, one of my favorite restaurants, is a parrot head, and he brings his parrot headdom into full celebration once a year for it's kind of like a memorial celebration of Jimmy Buffett. It's a 6-hour party, so really plan on hearing deep cuts. It's $30 for a ticket. It goes from 4 to 10 p.m. at Cucina. I think probably it'll be a gorgeous evening this Saturday to be outside in a coconut bra and a grass skirt, whatever, drinking a cold beverage and being baptized in salt. They have like a tropical playlist. There's beach balls kind of flying around. They basically try and bring island magic to the lower avenues.
A steep challenge.
Been like a 10-year project for me personally. So Saturday, August 22nd, you do need to RSVP. Pick up a ticket. I will see you there. In whatever state I'm in and whatever song I'm scream singing, I just ask that if you're a listener and you're going to come to this event, you just give me a little bit of grace.
Just like Jimmy would.
So great. Yeah, it's super fun. If you Google it or go to Cucina's website, you'll see this event, but we can also drop a link in the show notes to make it easy. If you want to get tickets, come on down. Actually, you know what I should check is I don't think it is 21
sold out. Oh.
No. Yeah, and it's an all ages event. So because it's a restaurant, you actually could bring your whole family if you wanted to. All right. Alpine resident and dad, Scott Wessman. Hey, congrats on back to school.
Thank you.
It's as much for the parents as it is the kids.
Feels that way.
Yep. CityCast Salt Lake contributor Kate Groetzinger. Congrats on no longer running for school board. We're really happy for you. I'll see you guys around. That is all for us today here on CityCast Salt Lake. Our executive producer is Emily Means. Our producers are Ivana Martinez and Matilde Urfalino. Our newsletter editors, Terina Ria. Our audience development managers, Angie Treasure. I'm your host, Ali Vallarta. Music is by the local band Mitochondria with additional music from All the Kimonos, Arc de Soleil, Wendy Marcini, Sven Lindvall, Bagel, and Measlo. We will be back on Monday morning with more from around town. Have a great weekend. Bye.